Welcome to the Dealing with Goliath podcast. The mission of Dealing with Goliath is to sharpen the psychological edge, negotiation, ethical influencing, and high impact conversations for business leaders who want to be more effective under pressure, uncover hidden value, and build greater connection, all while increasing profitability. With expert guests across the business spectrum, we deliver gems of wisdom, delving into their methods, their thinking, and approach to business life and to problem solving. This is the short form espresso shot of insight podcast interview to boost business performance using our 5 questions in 15 minutes format. So my guest today is Karen Yankovich. Now, Karen is known as the LinkedIn go-to, host of the Good Girls Get Rich podcast. I love that title, absolutely brilliant. And quoted in Huffington Post, Social Media Today, and many other publications. She talks with authority about the importance of women creating a magnetic and profitable LinkedIn strategy. And what makes Karen different from all of the other experts is that she helps women step away from all the noise and gets right to the point, using LinkedIn for up-leveled business relationships. Karen, welcome to the show.
I am so happy to be here with you today. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on. There's so many things that I'd love to discuss with you. So first of all, where are you joining us from today?
Yep. So I'm in northern New Jersey, right outside of New York City.
Excellent. Wonderful. I haven't actually been to New Jersey yet, but I have been to New York a number of times. So I vaguely know the neighborhood. Wonderful place, wonderful. The Garden State, excellent stuff.
New Jersey's the best. You can be within a half an hour. You can be in New York City, Philadelphia, the beach, the Appalachian Trail, the mountains.
Oh, wow.
All within an hour of you in New Jersey. It's
all within an hour.
Outstanding.
So that's fabulous. From the little intro there, so there's a lot of points that I'd love to ask you about. So let's just start. So who is your ideal client, and what is the biggest challenge that they face?
Yeah. So primarily I work with women, but to be honest, I don't really care what your body parts are or how you identify. I just think women need to do a better job of really stepping into their genius, into their greatness, and shining a light on it. So I help, again, primarily women, create a strong personal brand and then build relationships from that standpoint, right? Building relationships from the top down instead of the bottom up, with the positioning themselves as if they're peers with the most influential people in their industry. And, it's something we have complete control over, but often we just don't do this one piece. So my mission in life is to help more people understand that their digital footprint is so important. And this is one place we can control it.
That sounds fascinating. Can you just clarify on that? That's an interesting idea about top down versus bottom up.
Yeah. So, if you're looking to, for example, let's use media. Most people are not thinking about building relationships with the journalists in their industry. So certainly you can, try to get to the person that answers the phone, but I want you to build a relationship with the publisher, right? Like if you have a great LinkedIn profile that positions you as if you're peers with these people, then you can reach out from the top down. And if the publisher's interested in what you say, then they'll say, hey, you know what? I love this idea. Reach out to Mary, reach out to Joe, and, let's see if we can make this happen. Now, when you reach out to Mary, you're saying, hey, Mary, your boss sent me, right? As opposed to trying to get past the gatekeeper, which is what we think we have to still do, right? But we don't have to do that anymore. We can really kind of go straight to the people we really want to build relationships with. You can use these platforms, not just LinkedIn, but Twitter and other platforms. You can tweet Oprah, right? How do you do that in other places, right? So we have these are tools we now have. We just have to have the confidence to build relationships on that level. And that's a big part of what I do.
That's an amazingly great point. As you said, it comes completely in the context. It's totally different, isn't it? When you're getting in touch with them cold versus, as you said, your boss or your board of director, or whoever has told me to get in touch. It's a very different start of a conversation or a very different request. I love that. It's fabulous stuff. So with your ideal client, what are some of the common mistakes that people make when they're trying to solve some of those challenges, when they're trying to overcome some of those challenges?
Well, often go straight to talking about what they do, their products or services. I have a red one, I have a blue one. We don't care if it's red or blue, right? We care what it changes in our world. So one of the biggest mistakes is is not understanding what's in it for me, right? Because that's all I really care about. Even on LinkedIn, which is primarily the platform that I'm working with people on, nobody cares about you. They care about what you can do for them. Right.
Mhm.
So primarily the biggest mistake is that, we're so eager and good at talking about our products or services. I have this great yoga class and it's every Tuesday because Tuesdays are a great time for people. Like, I want to know, if I go to yoga class, am I going to be able to sit on the floor with my kids? Right. Not
Mm.
Tuesday's a great time. So really looking at how you build relationships and focusing on what's in it for them, and be more client facing with all of the communications that you have as you're building these relationships.
I love it. I love it. There's something again. There's so much parallels here because I'm always talking about trying to get into the mindset, the headspace, the
Yes.
perspective of whoever it is we're reaching out with.
Mhm.
Because that way they feel just like you're saying, they feel like, this is relevant to me. Like straight up,
Right.
okay, that's an important reason why
Right.
that would
Right.
sounds really interesting, actually. Rather than as you say, oh, it's on Tuesday or it's blue or green. It's like features, we
Right.
don't care. Yeah.
Right.
Well, they might care, but not until they know why it
Right.
might matter
Right.
to them.
First we have to be like, what is keeping me awake at night? And how is this impacting that? Right.
It's
That's I would
exactly,
say the biggest mistake that people make. But the other thing too, I think another big mistake I think my ideal clients make is they spend too much time thinking about like their marketing and their content and how many eyes am I going to get on my posts and how often do I post and how do I do video or audio and not enough time putting people on their calendar.
yeah,
I have no problem. I'm of course it's a big part of marketing is what do you post and how often do you post? All
sure.
that happens after you've done the outreach to the people that can change your business and your life, right? First, let's do the outreach and then we can focus on how do we stay top of mind with the people we're doing outreach to.
That's a really interesting point. I was talking to someone else about this recently, and they were speculating that all of these mechanisms, as you said, whether it's Twitter or email outreach or whatever, LinkedIn, that a lot of it's actually people are engaging it because it's less uncomfortable than having some of those slightly awkward, slightly challenging
Yeah.
conversations, like real humans talking. Who knew?
Exactly. Exactly. I spoke with a client this morning and she is just getting started with LinkedIn and her profile makes her look great and she's got 13 connections. I was like, you got to start connecting. So she's
Yeah.
an Instagram influencer. I said, so start going to Instagram and see who you're connected to and come on over to LinkedIn and see if they have a LinkedIn profile and say, hey, you know what? We've been connected on Instagram. I love your content. We've had some conversations there. I'm really leaning into, I really want to get to know the people I'm connected to better now. So I'd love to connect with you here so I can see more about you and the woman behind their business or the man behind the business. Right. So those are the kinds of things that I was helping her do because she's real good at content, right? She's got this great Instagram influence, but no calls on her calendar. I'm
Right.
like, and then as you do this, start putting some of these people on your calendar and the conversations aren't, here's what I do, give me your credit card. Here's what I do. Who do you know? Right? Who
Hmm.
do you know? And that's how we start to build a network. And our networks are really where the money is being made at this point in the world we live in.
And just to clarify on that point, when you're having those meetings, as you say, putting those meetings in the calendar, you know, as you said, you're not coming up going, here's what I can do, buy stuff, right? But what is it you're hoping to achieve in that building of the relationship?
This is where it's tricky. Sometimes we don't know, right?
Right.
And we have to have the conversation to find out. And it takes some confidence to have those conversations. I'm not in this to make new friends. So it's not, I mean, it's great if you make new friends, but the goal
Mm.
is to build your business. So you just never know. And you never know when someone's going to say, listen, I want to introduce you to my friend Mary, because Mary really needs us. Now Mary's getting that warm intro to you. So building relationships from that standpoint is so much of it. First of all, it builds more ease into your business. It's not as much, cold calls
Hmm.
to the wrong people and then just filling your calendar with all kinds of busy work. and you want to be do some research, and you only want to have these calls with certain people. And I'm a big fan of making them short, 15 minutes. If it's a great
Right.
conversation, book some more time. That's
Right.
amazing. But if it's not, you're not going, oh my gosh, how do I get off the phone with this person? I have 20 more
Exactly.
minutes, right? So make it short. If there's a real connection, then book a follow-up call, meet for coffee, do whatever, but we remember the people we speak to, even if it's a Zoom call, way more than we remember just a text conversation or a DM conversation. So don't be
Absolutely.
afraid to move these relationships to an actual conversation. And you never know what's going to happen. And you know what? Maybe you just have a conversation. It's like, all right, great. Now I know what you do. I'll think about you if I have any opportunities. But maybe they also said like they were taking their kid to Disney World next week or whatever. Maybe you make a follow-up on your calendar to reach out to them in 2 months and say, hey, Joe, how was Disney World? I was thinking about you the other day because I saw a thing on Mickey Mouse, just to rekindle that, because again, it's about building actual relationships. We're not doing this to sell pens. We're doing this to get a distributor that wants to buy 100,000 of our pens, right?
Sure,
So we need
sure.
to think about our biggest opportunities and just build actual relationships without knowing exactly where it's going to go, but be as generous as you are, looking for support as well.
I
Looking for
love
support
that.
as
I
well.
love the focus on generosity and going just beyond the conversation. Some of the great stories in negotiation when people are kind of getting along quite well, they're kind of hammering out a deal. And it's amazing the amount of rapport and trust built when someone says,
Yes.
"Oh, I'm going to Rome next week." "Oh, you're
Right.
going on holiday." "Oh, can I have you been?" "No, I haven't." Can you recommend it?" "Oh, yeah, you give a few advice. Oh, thanks very
Right.
much. That's kind of
And then
adding that whole
follow up and
human
say,
element.
did you have
Follow up.
the
Exactly.
bolognese while you were there? Right? Like, right?
Exactly,
Follow up.
exactly. That's real. That's actual human connection here, two
Yes.
humans conversing. And as you said, loving that slightly. I was going to say dangerous. It's not dangerous, but slightly. Not quite sure where it's going. It's not complete,
Yeah.
objective, clear, precise goal each time. There's again something lovely, human there. Absolutely. So, what might be? I know it's so difficult, but what might be one free action that the audience can implement that will help them at least move in the right direction? You've given us a few hints already. You've
Yeah. All
given
right. I'm
us
going to
some
give you a good
overviews.
one.
So
You
yeah,
ready for
give me a
this
great
one?
one.
So many people are, and as they should be, building your email lists, right? You're building your
Hmm.
email list, and you've got a lead magnet, and you're sending out a newsletter once a week or once a month or whatever. I would love to see you actually maybe once a month go into your email list and then go to LinkedIn and connect with them and say, you know what,
Mm.
Mark, thank you so much for allowing me into your inbox every month. I genuinely mean it when I say I want to build relationships with the people that are in my world, and I want to connect with you too, because now this is how I can learn a little bit more about you, Mark. These are people that are interested in what you are doing. They're on your email list, right? These are warm leads. So why not take that extra step every month or every couple weeks and connect with them in other places, so that and again, it's coming from a genuine place. I want to know more about you. And you know a lot about me. You get my emails every week. Now I want to learn a little bit more about you. And it's just a great way, again, to build those higher ticket opportunities. And these are people we already know are interested in what we're doing, right?
It's so
So
clever.
it's kind of a fun way to just leverage, going deeper, not wider.
Absolutely. It's so clever because, as you said, they've already opted in. They've
Mhm.
already given you a little vote of you're interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's so clever.
you have to do a little bit of prep work. Like when I first started doing this, I realized I need to ask for last names when I do
Right.
things. Because
Right.
sometimes it's, Joe and his email is joe42@gmail.com. You're never going to find him on LinkedIn,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you're not going to find everyone. And often what I would recommend you do too is just go to the people that are opening your emails. If your email service provider can give you that information, you don't have to do it to everyone. Just look to see who opened the last couple emails and going over to LinkedIn and kind of
Start a
getting a little
conversation.
backdoor connection, right?
Yeah, that's an outstanding idea. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. So tell us, Karen, what is one free valuable resource that you could direct people to that will help them?
Yeah. So, you know what? I am kind of getting tired of talking to people about their LinkedIn profiles. I feel like post pandemic, if that's the world we're living in now,
Mhm.
we have to know we need to have a great online presence. We need to know we have a great LinkedIn profile. So we've created LinkedInprofiletraining.com. If you go to LinkedInprofiletraining.com, there's all kinds of information there so that I want to talk to you about strategy. So I'm going to give you everything I can give you so that you can have your profile done so that we can jump into strategy and actually get you to making some money. So if you're thinking your profile needs some help, go to LinkedInprofiletraining.com, and there's some resources there for you to take advantage of.
And I love that. It's so generous. It's like, because that's exactly what we're talking about here, isn't it? It's like, here the fundamentals, like that, just go through that on your own. You'll blast through it and then talk to Karen. It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. I love it. So, Karen, what's one question I should have asked you that would be of great value to our audience?
So the one question that you didn't ask, but that most people ask me is, what do I do about all the spam I get on LinkedIn? Every time I open up LinkedIn, my inbox is just full of people pitching me, and I don't even know these people. And I truly believe that LinkedIn is our money tree. It is where we build relationships with the people that can change our business, our lives, and our bank accounts. And if you let the weeds take over, then you're missing the opportunity of all those $100,000 bills hanging on the money tree, right? So ignore it. And often but I would say to people, especially if I know them well enough, I'll say, what was the last message you sent on LinkedIn? Like, well, I don't send messages on LinkedIn. It's, well, then you're just being reactive. And if you're just reactive, that's all you're going to see. When you become proactive, my LinkedIn inbox is the most profitable piece of real estate I own in my business. It is where all the business is happening. I ignore the spam and I build relationships to build my business. And if you let the spammers kind of win, you're missing out on this huge opportunity of that LinkedIn can be for you.
Such a great point. Such a great point. As you said, because that is one of those reticent reasons why people don't really dive into LinkedIn, and there's
Yeah.
so much value there. Absolutely. So Karen Yankovich, thank you so much for being on the show. Can you give us just that link to your LinkedIn course once
Yeah.
again? Because that sounds outstanding.
LinkedInprofiletraining.com.
LinkedInprofiletraining.com. Outstanding stuff. And where can people, I presume people should reach out to you on
Well,
LinkedIn,
LinkedIn is a
should they?
great place. Let me know that you saw me here, and I'm happy to connect with you. Make sure you put in the connection request that you heard here, and you know what? I'm going to give everyone an extra little bonus tip. If you
Oh,
loved this interview, share this on LinkedIn. Tag me. I will share it with my audience, right? And that's how you get more visibility too, and that's how you start building relationships from a generous point of view, right? From a, you're listening to this. If you got anything good out of it, it's going to benefit, both Al and me that you're sharing it. And we'll be sure to share it with our audiences as well and get your name in front of them. So thank you for the opportunity, Al, to be in front of your audience.
well, thank you for coming on the show, Karen. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for all those little gems of wisdom which we talked about. You've been superbly generous. So thank you.